Hey, it's LA Lloyd. Today is going to be the fourth time for Scott Stapp to co-host the Rock 30, as we've been having guests for the past few weeks from their homes. Scott is checking in via Skype, and great to have you on the show today, man.
Hey, man. Good to be here. Thanks for having me.
So we got a lot to cover, but before we get into it, I was just kind of curious how you and Jacqueline and the kids are doing now that we've all kind of had to find different ways to kind of get a new routine, I guess, while we're away from our normal lifestyle.
Yeah, man. Hey, we're hanging in there. We've got a busy household, 3 kids, 3 dogs, a cat, a couple ducks, some chickens, homeschool, virtual school. We've become assistant teachers. So a lot going on, man, but we've tried to just keep a routine and it's been good to spend a lot of extra time with the kids and with the family together, trying to make the best out of this situation,
Absolutely. Now, before we went on the air today, you mentioned something about building a chicken coop. Now, tell me about you becoming a chicken farmer here, Scott.
Well, right, I think after quarantine came down, we got some chickens and some ducks. The kids had been wanting them, and we had been wanting to kind of harvest and have our own eggs, out here on our property. And so we got them. They were babies, so they've been inside with the heat lamp. And during that time, it was time to get their permanent residence, built. The family, the kids, and Jackie and I got out there and built a chicken coop. So they're getting moved in today because they're starting to fly out of their quarters right now. So
no, I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that if you play classical music, they'll lay better eggs. Have you heard that rumor or not?
I haven't heard that, man. We'll have to try that out. I'm sure my daughter will be out with one of her instruments serenading him. She's the animal enthusiast.
I love it. Well, going back to the first time I met you, Scott, was, 1997. I can't believe we've actually been knowing each other for this long. But one thing that really struck me from that day up to the present is your spirituality in your songs. And I was just kind of curious if your faith and beliefs find a way into your music simply on you reflecting the past or maybe concentrating on looking ahead to the future.
I think it's both. And I think 90% of the time, it's subconscious. It's something that just, it's not an intentional thing that I set out to do when I'm writing songs or when I'm writing lyrics. It's just in part in telling the story, the reality of the situation or the emotion or the feeling or the reflection that was part of the real deal. And so it makes its way in there.
Following up on that, when you kind of reflect on some of the negative times that you've had to go through or experience, I mean, is it hard to write about these times, or do you find it maybe a little therapeutic or rejuvenating to open up about these things through your music?
I think it's definitely been an outlet for me my entire life to deal with the realities of life and the human experience, the good, the bad, the dark times, as you brought up. In some ways it can be a way for me to reflect and then learn. In other ways, it can be for me to kind of share what I've learned through that process and it be an empowering experience and kind of, give me a purpose to that experience so it doesn't feel like it was a wasted period in my life.
Right.
And so it has a lot of different, angles. And so I try to always look at the positive through every situation. And even though it could be something that was very tough and a struggle that I've gone through.
Yeah, for sure. I watched the Wake Up Call video with you and the Child Fund recipients. So, man, what a very positive and motivational video. So tell me about that video with the kids there and about Wake Up Call a little bit.
Yeah, man, we've been in partnership with an organization called Child Fund for a number of years now. And that is an organization that's feeding children and families and providing them the basic necessities in life and also helping educate them and teach them life skills, community skills, education, so they can be self-sufficient and be in charge of their own future and their own destiny. But everybody needs a start.
Yeah.
We went to one of these areas and one of these communities that we had been helping to take care of and sponsor to help, raise them out of severe poverty. And we wanted to see with our own eyes, where the support and the financial directive that we had sent, how it was being used, and really see it firsthand with our own eyes. And so we had a camera follow us on that trip to document it so we could kind of report back to the fans who have participated and to others that we know that have participated, so they could see the impact of their contribution and where it's going.
Yeah.
We visited 3 different areas. One that was just getting started with help, one that was 5 years into the program, and one that was 10 plus years.
Wow. So
we could really show how this process works and how these communities are transformed, with everyone coming together and doing their part to make an impact on these children and families' lives. And we just set that recap video to a song off the new record called "Wake Up Call."
Yeah.
We thought it was fitting. I know being there firsthand was definitely a wake up call for me in regards to kind of validating that, hey man, we're doing the right thing here. These kids and families, they need our help. They're not going to get it from anywhere else. And hopefully a wake up call for others who are in a position to help others in need.
It's a great video. I wanted to talk a little bit more about your wife, Jacqueline. She's been a rock to you through a lot of stuff, man. And I just wanted to talk about, the importance of her, not only as a partner and a wife, but just, really being your backbone almost, if you will, when you were going through some rough times.
Jackie has really taught me and shown me through her actions what true friendship, true loyalty, and true love is.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to be someone's friend when times are good, and there's nothing but laughs. You find out who your real friends are, and I know this is cliche, but it's the truth.
Yeah.
The people that truly care about you and that don't have any other agenda, but they're concerned for your well-being when times get tough. It's the people that love you and stick by you, potentially when you're not so lovable, or when you're going through a tough time. And she's been that, rock for me and, for our family. And she's really been a voice of just truth. Everybody needs someone that they respect, which I have tremendous respect for my wife, along with love. I just respect her as a human being, someone who just speaks truth into your life. Yeah. And doesn't necessarily always tell you what you want to hear, but gives you their honest observation and opinion, and also knows the right time to give you tough love, and especially dealing with my situation, battling addiction. There were times when tough love was necessary to kind of give me a wake-up call, to get through. And I think that having her stick by me through that instead of, abandoning or bailing or turning her back and running the other direction, I think saved my life.
Yeah.
And thank God, for her, because so many others, didn't do what she did.
Right.
They cut and run. And so, she's just an angel in my life and an amazing mother, a strong, independent woman, and just epitomizes what loyalty, love, and friendship is. And I'm just blessed and fortunate to have her as my wife.
Right. Just as we were going into the beginning of COVID-19, you had announced the 2020 summer tour dates that I believe was kicking off early June. So are these dates still on the books for now, or have they been pushed back? What's the latest for your tour dates?
Well, the June dates right now, we're in talks with the promoters, and some of them have been canceled. But to be honest with you, it's not looking very promising.
Yeah.
You all still need to follow the guidelines of the CDC and stay home and social distance. And I've got to make the best decision along with the promoters for the band, the crew, the fans, the venue staff. And so everyone who had tickets to the June shows, announcements will be coming, definitive announcements. So stay tuned. Check out, my website and my social media handles for updates on that, because we're going to be rolling out all the latest information on, what's being canceled, what's being postponed, and as that comes in. But we want to make one kind of global announcement instead of trickling things out. Just stay tuned for that.
It's a lot of moving parts, man. I mean, it really is, not just for the bands, but like you said, the fans, the booking agents, the venues. I mean, it's a lot of moving parts to make these things kind of, get back on track again. Once you had all the songs finished on The Space Between the Shadows, how difficult is it for you and the folks you're working with to finalize the track listing? I mean, is this something that you really still, because I know people, don't consume music the way they did when you first started in your career. There's no vinyl, there's really no more CDs. People just download or stream what they want to hear. So do you still put a lot of emphasis on the track listing for you as an artist?
I definitely do. It's extremely important to me. I typically, and I think it's subconscious as well, I write and I put the albums together, and they're kind of like they're a story. And the first song to the last song guides you through a journey in a chronological order of vibe and content and what I'm talking about. So I still put a lot of effort into laying that out. So it's very important to me.
Yeah.
I still make albums that are meant to be listened to from the first song to the last. And, there's still fans out there that do that.
And I'm one of them for sure. I definitely listen to your music that way.
And God bless you for that, man, and all the ones that do. But you're right, man. The landscape has changed, and there's cherry picking, and people create their own playlists.
Yeah.
But, I'm kind of old school, man, and I'm not going to change the way I do it, man. It's just the way that I do it.
That's good, man. That's good to hear. Well, let's talk about the latest single, Survivor. We've been playing it now for about 3 or 4 weeks on the Rock 30. So maybe tell me a little bit about this track before we play it today.
Yeah, man. Well, Survivor came about when I was going through a dark time in my life a number of years ago. The lyrics began to be formed, not the song, but just what would eventually become the lyrics. And I found myself when I was in adversity and in the struggle and in the midst of that period, kind of writing positive affirmations on and writing these bold statements, not because I felt them at the time, but it's how I wanted to feel. It's where I wanted to be. It's how I wanted my outlook to be, because I knew I was going to stay strong to get through it. And writing those things down and writing those things down were almost like goals and things that kind of kept my mind focused on the end, on thinking one day this is going to be over. One day I'm going to get through this, and I'm going to look back at this struggle and this adversity, and I'm going to say, how you like me now? And then the song is really kind of connected a lot with cancer survivors, people who have gone through domestic violence or childhood trauma or abuse and made it through difficult times. Anyone who has survived and gone through a struggle in life has been reaching out to me on how much they relate to this song. And something very special to me that's happened during this pandemic is I've seen a lot of montages that have been made for the doctors and the nurses and the first responders that are on the front lines, fighting this pandemic. They've made these montages of their heroism to the song. And so it's kind of even become a song that I've dedicated to them because we're going to beat this. And it's just a mentality. The whole song is about a mentality and a way to focus your mind when you're in the midst of adversity and struggle, no matter what it is, man.
So I believe you worked with Marty and Scott, who produced the latest album, on some other stuff before this, right? So they seem to be great guys to collaborate with. So tell me a little bit about your relationship with them.
Yeah, we've been writing songs together, Marty Fredrickson and Scott Stevens. They're just great guys. They've become great friends. And I wanted to take that writing relationship that we had, because I knew that they produced as well. I was like, man, you know what? I want to feel as comfortable. We have such a great friendship, and I feel so comfortable with you guys that we built over the years. I want you to produce my record. And you guys open to doing it together. And they were down. So not only did we, write together, but they produced the record. And they're just super talented guys, and really helped bring out the best in me and challenge me. And again, it's good to have people in your life that don't always tell you what you want to hear, especially in a creative and studio environment. And so there was a push and a pull, just like a band.
Yeah.
And that was invigorating for me, and made it exciting every day to go to the studio. So really happy with the end result.
We've had some really great positive people on the show for the past few weeks while they've been in lockdown, like Gavin Rossdale and Adam Gontier and Brent Smith from Shinedown. And one thing that we kind of talked about is, while we're going through a struggle or, our lives have been disrupted somewhat, music seems to really come out and flourish when we're all going through that. I kind of wanted to put it another way for you today. And since you've had to write a lot of songs when you were struggling, but now you're calm, you're in a great space, you look happy. Is it more difficult when life is good than you're having a little bit of a struggle?
Well, for me, I've always, for some reason, I think it's just because of the way that I'm built. When I get into writing mode, I seem to always find my mind and my creativity going into these dark holes.
Okay.
No matter what's going on in my life around me. But the one thing I'm looking forward to is also getting back in touch with the light and those songs that, even though I'll go to those dark places, getting back in touch with that source of inspiration that took me higher in the past.
Yeah. Great song.
And so that's the dichotomy of, I think, who I am as a writer. And so I'm looking forward to this next chapter. I kind of feel like these last two records I've really, really dealt with a lot. Last two solo records, really processed and dealt with a lot of that journey through the dark period in my life, which I characterize it now. And I've found 5.5 years of sobriety now, one day at a time, man. And if I'm fortunate and keep doing what I'm doing every day, then that'll keep happening. So I'm excited about the future and staying positive about how that's going to impact the songwriting moving forward. But there'll definitely be the dichotomy of it. I can't escape that.
That's good, man. I tell you what, last question, we'll do an artist pick if you'd like from the Space Between the Shadows. Besides the singles that we're playing, maybe give me one of your other favorite picks on there and why you chose it.
2 is okay?
Yeah.
All right. I'll start off with Red Clouds.
Okay. That
is a song that's really one of my favorite songs on the record. It really embodies a vibe and a mood and an emotion. Sonically as well as vocally, that's very groove oriented, hypnotic, but also opens up to something greater than myself, and kind of this organic internal cry, which is very something I love to connect with, not only when I felt it in the studio, but live. And then the next one would be World I Used to Know.
Okay.
Which I think, again, is a song that's very fitting for the times that we're living in now.
Yeah. And
it's a song that it's a rock song, man. It's a straight up banger, man. And my favorite moment in that song is when I hit the bridge and I just feel the groove of the guitars and the impact that has on me as a music lover, but also as a listener and an artist performing. And like I said, the message fits with the times we're living in. So those two are it for me.
Great choices, man. Well, I got to tell you, your voice just keeps getting better and better. I mean, you've just got those booming pipes, man, and I love the fact that you're still making music and you're on the road. And I think you may be doing a San Antonio date, so I'm going to try to drive down from Austin to San Antonio this time and check out the show, because it's been a while since I've seen you live. The last time I saw you live, even though I've seen a lot of videos, was when you were on that NXS tour and you did a show in Austin, and that was when I first met Jacqueline. I don't know if you guys were married yet or had just got married, but it was about that time frame. So I am due for another Scott Stapp show very soon in my future.
Wow, dude, those were good times, man. But it's been a long time. That's been like, my God, I want to say 14 to 15 years.
At least, yeah. I think it might have been 2006. I think it was. Wow.
And so if San Antonio doesn't happen, coming up, then it'll get, pushed. And, whenever it happens, I want to see you there. It's been too long.
It has been. Well, hey, man, thank you so much for being on the show. We'll be checking out those tour dates on your website, and have a great rest of the day. Take care of those chickens. And like I said, I hope we'll be out of our houses soon, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much. Great to see you, brother.
Thanks, man. That sounded great. It was a good one.